free play games that anyone can join in. They're going to be open. They're not going to be team locked like these games tonight are, even though game number 4, we might have a bit of an open slot for the last game of the night. Figure out all that sort of stuff as things continue. When it's the first game for the XLNC Spring Split. All right, so the way, as we're doing some of the picks and bans, I'll talk about the Spring Split for just a moment. The Spring Open, it's not a split, it's just an open tournament. Spring Open tournament, the true tournament starts on the 31st at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. There is going to be the Thursday previous to that. There's going to be the play-ins. What that means is you're going to have the out of the 8 teams that are going to be playing, you're going to have 2 groups of 4. They're going to be playing a quick 3-team round robin each. In that 3-team round robin, that's going to give them a little bit of a basis for where they start when it comes to positioning for this spring split, the Spring Open. So what you want to do is you want to be the games technically will start, I believe it is 9 p.m. Thursday before March 31st. You're going to play 3 round-robin games, and at the end, that's going to decide your positioning for the Spring Open, which will take place on March 31st. As we look at these bans, a number of them are targeted. The Morgana, the Echo, the Lissandra, taken away from people. You look at the Darius, banned against Deceased Seal. Morgana, banned against the Cody, Chad, playing for Dumbledore's army. Echo taken away from... Dive isn't playing the games. Oh yeah, he is. There he is. Mid laner for Dumbledore's army. Echo taken away from him. Lissandra picked off. I think he's against Smartest. Not sure about the Soraka pick. Interesting ban there from Dumbledore's army. As you see, Seal gets to pick something for the top side. He doesn't have Yasuo. He might go Rengar. It's going to be Braum locked in, trading over to Eben in the bottom lane. So he's going to go ahead and lock in that supportive role pretty early on, making sure that he's got that for filling in. One of the safer roles to go ahead and pick early, that supportive role, because you really want your carries to have an edge. So eventually you're going to have to blind pick something. Blind picking a Braum, not bad, especially as Lucian's still on the table. And for the side of Dumbledore's army, they're going to lock in the Thresh. But who is Zeno going to play? He likes his Vayne, he likes his Kai'Sa, but he can play a lot of different AD carries. Just kidding, it's Zeno in the jungle, so it's actually going to be Otter playing the ADC role this time around. I'm not sure which ADC is Otter's favorite. Probably going to be an Ezreal pick. I would be surprised. He's pretty safe. He's pretty standard. He's pretty good right now. A little bit slow to really, truly come online. There it is, locked in. A good, safe pick. You gotta land your spells from kind of a mile away. As, whoa, the immediate Kai'Sa lock in. Hamburger collectors know what they want to play into this Ezreal. And Zayn and Megan going to lock in that Kai'Sa. Of course, going to be traded over to him after all these champions have been locked in as Heal It Up. But he's going to play in the mid lane. He's got the Azir available. He's played a couple of other mid laners as well. Might be a Ryze or an Orianna. No, he's not going to be picking any of his champions right now. It's going to be the jungle. This Hamburger Collectors locking in a Mumu, trying to set up some wombo combo potentially with the Braum. Get that Glacial Fissure, knocking people up. Mummy can bandage toss his way and root a bunch of people. It's a good way to lock down this very slippery Ezreal. You don't even have to bandage toss to the Ezreal. You just bandage toss to a neighbor and then hit him with that Curse of the Sad Mummy. As Dive going to lock in the jungle for the side of Dumbledore's army. It's the Jarvan. A great pick for the jungle. His Cataclysm is really, really nice at locking somebody down. Not many high mobility champions for Hamburger Collectors so far. The Amumu, the Braum, both of those champions make it life difficult for them if they're stuck in that Cataclysm. Though Kai'Sa, she's got her ultimate Killer Instinct. If it's not down, she should be able to get herself out without too much difficulty. Even still, Jarvan, excellent ganker in the early game. Great flag and drag can bring you some advantages in one of these side lanes, or potentially even the mid lane, depending on what these mid laners want to lock in. As we don't have any mid laners yet, wouldn't be surprised if we see some bans headed in that direction, as the top lane going to be pinched from both sides as well. We've got the ADCs, we've got the supports, we've got the junglers, so it's top and mid that are the target for both. And right now, banning away these top laners. The Jax, the Fiora, no real tanks. Yorick banned away, but no Darius, no Nasus, none of that. Well, Darius was banned earlier, but there's the Ornn banned. Oh, Nuez, they banned your champion, Ripperitos. Sad day indeed. But the Ornn banned away, not going to have it this time around. What's it going to be for the mid lane, which has a lot of champions open? Victor locked in for dive in the mid lane. Plenty of damage, good AoE, and great ultimate to pair with Jarvan. You drop the Cataclysm, Victor's drops his own in the middle of it all, the Electro Storm zapping away and dealing a ton of damage. Plus, he's got his E to set things up, make them even a little bit more spicy. As Omega needs to lock in a mid laner or a top laner for the side of Hamburger Collectors. They're going to go for Vladimir. They could be flexed either or. We'll see what they decide to do with that Vladimir. It's up to Eben now to lock in a champion. It's most likely Vladimir for the top lane. He's a bit tankier. He can survive a bit better. But it could be Vladimir taken against Victor in the mid lane as well. He's got a nice heal potential. He can get with Pool out of a lot of Victor's damage when things are looking bad. Nope, it is going to be the Zed locked in. Still could be Victor top lane for Dumbledore's army. That could be rotated as well. Is it going to be the Mimo? Is it going to be the Mimo? They're hovering it. I don't know if they're going to pick it or not. And excuse me, my nose is just driving me nuts at the moment. Obviously, I need a little bit more coffee to spice things up a bit more. Give me just a second. Looks like it's no Mimo this time around. It's going to be the Alawi. Great team fight champion as well. Look at the team fight potential coming out from Dumbledore's army. That said, Victor and Ezreal, very squishy champions that could be knocked out pretty quickly in a fight if they are picked off, especially by a Zed or a Kai'Sa. They could find those targets. They could drop them pretty quickly. The one good thing that Dumbledore's army has in that case is the Alawi and the Jarvan are both champions that can bring some damage to the table as well. You'd think that they're going to be going a bit more tanky, but they could play that up and decide instead to go more towards a damage bruiser route. Jarvan does a pretty good, decent amount of great English there, Jake. Pretty good amount of AD damage. Now, I don't think that he's going to go straight AD. They've got the Ezreal. They don't really need that damage. But if he's concerned about them not having enough damage brought to the table if you go straight tank, just add a little bit of AD to the mix. Why not? For the side of Hamburger Collectors, you've got the Amumu. Pretty decent tank there. Braum, also a great tank on top of it. Vladimir, kind of an AP bruiser champion. Before we get ahead of myself, let's go ahead and roll through the players and the champions. For the side of Hamburger Collectors, we've got Seal with the Vladimir in the top lane. G Fuel with the Amumu in the jungle. Heal it up on the Zed in the mid lane. Xena Megan with the Kai'Sa in the AD carry role. And Eben with the Braum support. For the side of Dumbledore's army, we've got ourselves Alawi, played by Smartest, and the top side. Xeno taking the Jarvan into the jungle. Mid lane dive on the Victor. And Otter playing a little bit of a different role this time around with that Ezreal in the AD carry role. And last but definitely not least, Cody or Chad in the support with his favorite champion of all, the Thresh. No shocker there. That is his #1 favorite champion to play. He's played it pretty effectively before. Every now and then he has a rough game, but for the most part, he does a fantastic job. He's gotten lots of MVPs off with this champion. So, looking at their compositions, I think I favor Dumbledore's army a little bit, even if they lose out a touch when it comes to the mid-game, or when it comes to the early game. Their mid-game is going to be so incredibly strong. If they get a little bit of vision, they're going to have some great rotation, some great team fights going in their favor. To counter that, the late game for Hamburger Collectors, Vladimir, Kai'Sa, absolutely insane. You get past that 30-minute mark, Kai'Sa will just be popping up, taking your help and taking names. The early game as well, they have some potential with the Amumu to maybe make some moves. You combine the Braum, he's going to have a nice, stun passive available with Amumu, could lock some targets down in this bottom lane against the Ezreal if that Mummy can find a nice bandage toss pre-6, even post-6. Bandage toss into Curse of the Sad Mummy will lock Ezreal down long enough for the Braum and the Kai'Sa to get a stun off, and Otter would go down. So, some good stuff there. We'll see what they can manage to do. Check it in real quick. All right, with 30 seconds remaining, if I had to predict which team was going to win, I kind of want to give it over to Dumbledore's army. I really think that combo of the Jarvan and Victor is going to be enough to lock down somebody, find themselves a kill, make it a 4v5, and then allow it. If it is a true 5v5, she should be able to drop some wombo with those tentacle slams. Plus, you think that they don't really have a whole lot of poke to their name. I mean, Victor's got a little bit with the Q, Ezreal's got a little bit with his own, but it's that test of spirit that Alawi can toss out, hook someone in, and they can just smash away. Plus, they get vision when those tentacles spawn, chasing that person down after deleting their health. There's some good stuff from Dumbledore's army. So, it's going to be on Hamburger Collectors to really make the play first, because they are going to have to decide where they're going to take this Zed, where they're going to take this Kai'Sa, if they can find a quick and early kill to start things off on the strong side for Hamburger Collectors, and then kind of carry that into a victory. Loading in, we got ourselves some fancy skins. Infernal Amumu, kind of a creator skin for a short while, showing up. Prestige Edition Kai'Sa, beautiful stuff there. Santa Braum, Soulseeker Vladimir, Voidbringer Alawi, Darkstar Jarvan, Debonair Ezreal, and Darkstar Thresh. Look at the purple Darkstar, Thresh and Jarvan paired up. We also have the Alawi, purple in the bottom lane. Victor, the only one who's standing out. Dive, what are you doing? You're trolling. No purple skin whatsoever. Even Debonair Ezreal is the closest Ezreal purple skin I think you can get. You might have one chroma that's a little bit more purple, but even still, Victor, that one golden champion. Maybe he's going to be the captain. Maybe he's going to lead the team into the charge. Now, I expect from Hamburger Collectors an invade. The reason why is they have that Braum. His Concussive Blows passive is so nice at being able to invade, start things off, get a little bit of a stun down on an enemy opponent. The question is whether Dumbledore's army is prepared to deal with that. They've got the Thresh, he's got a nice flay. We'll see what they can manage to do against a potential invade coming out from Hamburger Collectors. Sorry, checking onto my Discord message. Andrew answering Nuez in the chat. But ladies and gentlemen, we're into game number 3. Hamburger Collectors versus Dumbledore's army. Let's see what these two teams can do. Loaded onto the Rift. We talked about the picks and bans potentials. Now we actually get to watch it happen live in game. No invade from Hamburger Collectors. We could see an invade from Dumbledore's army. We're going to collect 4 members down here. They send the Alawi to the top side. Don't want her late to the lane. Early vision word from, I believe that was the Kai'Sa dropped. No, that was the Braum. So they see this happening. They see the invade. It didn't work out well for the team last time. Red side tried something similar. Different team, similar invade. This time they're going to get the vision down and again walk around. Is Chad going to throw out the death sentence? It'd be pretty hilarious if he just repeated exactly what they did last game. Not going to happen this time around. Just some vision. They know that it's going down. Back away. And Mumu is going to go ahead and switch over to his blue buff to start things off. So it is going to be potentially a trade of buffs. Dumbledore's army actually going to re-invade, but they're once again walking over a ward. This is the second time they're walking over a ward and seen by all the members of Hamburger Collectors to be doing that. Alawi's going to be moving down and get some vision in the pixel brush here. So Smartest kind of getting a little bit of early vision. They don't see anything from Dumbledore's army's side, but it is the red buff start. Hamburger Collectors know that this is going to be happening. They know that Dumbledore's army is taking away that red buff. So Mumu can grab it and immediately head to his own red buff. Wouldn't be surprised to see that happen. Or sorry, immediately head to Dumbledore's army's red buff. Looks like that's what the plan is. Going to be headed that direction. Could stop for the scuttle along the way. Alright, in the lanes. Alawi versus Vladimir. Vladimir's got some pretty good damage, pretty good harassment with the Q, but it's really that tested spirit from Alawi. Once she hits that level 2, level 3, can really start to lay the pain, especially if paired well with those tentacles against that wall. All in the bottom lane, taking a small chunk of damage, not too terrible. Thresh into Braum, pretty good for the Thresh. The Death Sense is going to set things up well as that Flay can be used pretty passively and kind of just chunk away on, dragging that Kai'Sa forward. Now, she does have Supercharge. Hold on, G Fuel coming around the corner, I think has been seen by the J4. Let's check really quickly to see if Mumu did secure that red buff, so we'll have that. J4 tries to invade in time to stop that, but Mumu a little bit fast to the punch, and now the Jarvan going to try to chase down this Mumu. Fight for the scuttle grab. Who's going to get it? The Jarvan steals it away. Doesn't even need the smite. He's got the red buff to slow his build, but won't chase him any further than that as this fight in mid lane. But Chad in the bottom lane going to find a nice play onto Zayn, and Megan is going to land the death sentence onto the Braum, pull him forward, but he's still level 1. The Braum doesn't have level 2 yet, so he doesn't have Unbreakable. The Ignite used onto the wait, hold on. The Thresh is going down. The Ignite from Braum drops the Thresh low. Cody falls as first blood goes over to Eben and Hamburger Collectors. I almost completely missed that as the Kaisa seemed to be the target for all the attention in the bottom lane. Smartest losing a bit of health from the top side. Gets blocked Tentacle Slams onto the Test of Spirit. And you see Seal chunked down to about half. Now has to avoid those tentacles spotting. Otter left alone in this bottom lane gets hit by Witcher's Flight from the Braum. Just continue to harass it down. He's playing still forward fairly aggressively, trying to keep his farm lead over this Kaisa, 18 farm to 14. He's got 4 more minions to catch up though, so nothing too crazy when it comes to the farm lead. Smartest still making some plays on the top side. Quick check in on the jungle. The Amumu's gone to his bottom side. Checked and seen that nothing is there. J4 headed to his own blue buff, so J4 a little bit slow despite getting the Scuttle Crab on the top side, but will get his blue buff, which technically speaking just evens out the buffs between the two junglers. But because of the Scuttle Crab secure on both top and bottom side, Dumbledore's army's jungler is out a little bit ahead. It looks like he might be making a play towards the mid lane. He's got some vision. He's, waiting around the corner, waiting to see what kill it up is going to do. Doesn't go all the way in though. Test the Spirit complete once again by Lowy, feeding that away on Vladimir. He's going to be slowed, recalling on that top side. He's going to try to go back in, get a little bit of minions underneath the turret. This Lowy is really wrecking Vladimir's health. Drops him down to half, or under half. His health is extremely low. Ooh, another Tentacle Slam down to 200. But it's more, what I was trying to say half, was half minions. 33 minions to 16. Vladimir definitely struggling, has a wave to catch, but has also a ways to go. Gets back up in just overall pure gold at the moment. Alawi sitting on 1,100 gold to get back and get a Giant's Belt, which would be pretty happy for her. Maybe it'll be some boots or damage. Let's see what the Alawi's going to start off with now that she's recalled. She's got TP, but she could also walk back to lane, having a massive CS advantage. She doesn't need to worry about burning TP to get back to lane very quickly. It's going to be a Caulfield's Warhammer, so looking for the aggression, looking to stay up in Vladimir's face, slam those tentacles, get the damage down, even if it's only on the Test of Spirit. Ocean Drake to start the game off with. Both teams would be okay with getting that, especially Vladimir being able to get the health regen. The Victor for the mana would be pretty nice. As we can actually get to see a play here in the mid lane. The hook lands, a flash hook play from the Thresh. Ladies and gentlemen, it's so many flashes burn. Xena's actually going to take 2 huge turret shots. Get out alive though. And let's see here, triple flashes. The Thresh, the J4, and the Victor all burned flashes, but they secure 1 kill back to Dumbledore's army. Expensive, still got a kill. Victor 10 CS up. Making it happen. Hey, Elidren, welcome to the stream. Glad you enjoyed that Thresh play. Cody's a fantastic Thresh player, really good, and kind of predicted where that Zed was going to go. Setting this team up for success. It was the J4, unfortunately, the picture that would have been better if the Victor had been able to grab it. Either way, still doesn't hurt to have somebody picking it up, and it gets your J4 closer to that lovely level 6 for the Cataclysm engages. In the bottom lane, Kaisa's been able to not only catch back up on the Ezreal's farm, but go ahead by a little bit as that Ezreal's been left alone. However, because he's been left alone, he's up in levels now. He should be hitting level 6, not too terribly long, which means he's got to have nice access to True Shot Barrage, be able to make some plays across the map. You see Seal still suffering on the top side, down an entire level, and look at the damage that Smartest is able to put out with that Test of Spirit. Now Vladimir is going to be in pain for quite a while yet. He's got his ultimate, but mostly he's just going to be trying to survive and take as much CS as he can, avoiding those tentacle slams. Smartest is focused on the turret. Needs just a little bit more damage to pick up that first plate. However, is going to be relying on minions to help push that in as the wave is going to crash. J4 is on that top side. The Mummy up here as well. Maybe the Mummy's going to be making a play onto this Allow It, but that could be pretty bad, especially considering that Smartest has the ultimate available. Could be pretty rough, as the Leap of Faith would be nice in the middle of 2 members, not just one. Auto taking a bit of damage with that. I used to know this one. Cathian Rain on the bottom side. Death Sentence lands from the Thresh. The play drags the Braum forward. Evan in a little bit of trouble. True Shot Barrage is going to miss completely, though. Just travels through the minions. Chad having chunked down quite a bit. The damage from this Kaisa just really hurt starting off with a pickaxe. Wonder if he's going to go with the double pickaxe build in the early game. Both teams still fairly even in gold. Junglers looked to top and then immediately backed away. I want to check very quickly as well. Hold on, another Death Sentence comes out. They got pretty good damage, but the Unbreakable from Braum is going to stop all of Ezreal's damage, and now Cody's in trouble. He's ignited. He's trying to get away. The heal from Ezreal won't keep alive. Eben in trouble, ignited. Ezreal doing a bit of damage, poking away. He doesn't have heal. Does have flash. Decides not to use it to try to pick off the Braum because Kaisa could just stand in the way. I wanted to check to see if, yeah, it looks like Alawi was able to secure the top lane first plate and get some damage down onto the second plate as well. So, bit of an advantage up there for the Alawi, but it was met in the bottom side as the Braum was going to pick up a second kill with that ignite. Not the ones you want it on. You want it on your Kaisa. You want her to be the one who's truly getting ahead, but either way, picking up some kills in the bottom lane is going to be pretty nice and make that Braum that much tankier. His Unbreakable going to be pretty good at dealing with that Ezreal damage, and a little bit of Victor, depending on the spell that you're tossing out, can be blocked by the Unbreakable. 2 kills to 1. Small lead for Hamburger Collectors, but not a whole lot. Ezreal, well, hold on, in the mid lane, Zed's gonna go all in, but a lot of damage to the exhaust from the Zed, and ooh, it doesn't matter. Hold on, the J4 trying to make a play, doesn't use the Cataclysm underneath the turret. Zed, heal it up with a really nice play in the mid lane, drops the ultimate, massive damage on to die before he can really respond. Picks himself up a solo kill. But that means Dumbledore's army is going to try to respond. They get some vision and positioning around the Ocean Drake. They don't go for it yet, though. They're going to try to make a play in the mid lane. Let's see if Thresh can make the hook land again. He doesn't have Flash and Mumu is here. Tosses out the Bandage Toss. Won't land on anyone, though, so it's just collecting the wave for the J4 as Thresh heads back into his jungle towards the bottom side. And Ezreal, once again, solo farming down here. Level 7, 2 levels above his Thresh. That's what Ezreal really enjoys doing when he gets the opportunity. He's missing minions, though, underneath the turret. That's not what you want to see. Ultimate used by Smartest, dropping to C-Seal low. Leap of Faith has been pulled. Oh, that Tentacle Slam drops C-Seal under 100 health. Vladimir has to get out of dodge. Get back to the fountain as Chad comes into the bottom lane, seeing if he can maybe make a play, but he doesn't have level 6. Keep that in mind. He's still going to step forward aggressively, find the play onto the Braum, will land the Death Sentence because J4 is here. It's the Cataclysm going to be started. Not yet. No, J4 just holds on to it, walks away as the teleport comes in from the Vladimir from the top side, making a play of his own. No, hold on. What? Yeah, it was the Mumu that took over on the top side. The C-Seal teleporting here to the bottom side, but Victor showed up. The pool keeps Vladimir alive as he's going to be able to get around the key from the Victor, who roamed towards the bottom side. They considered roaming down there. He's going to head right back to the mid lane, and Mumu is the one now taking the beating of the top side as Alawi just going to force G Fuel to once again defend underneath the turret. This Alawi's 50 farm up over the Vladimir. Going to be a sore spot for Hamburger Collectors. They are definitely leading in other areas, but suffering on this top side. G-Fuel goes in with Bandage Shots, but it's only on a minion. Smartest low on mana, mostly focused on getting these plates. Testing Spear just outside of the turret range. Look at the damage. Beginning to drop the Mumu little by little. Thresh trying to absorb some pressure onto the Ezreal on the bottom side, bit by bit. Ezreal still has Flash and will have heal up shortly, so mostly speaking is safe as G-Fuel. Woo, those tentacles continue to drop this money down. He's going to be able to recall, though. This is a crazy thing. Let's check the gold real quick. 3,000 to 4,400. Allowing 1,400 gold up. Dive in the mid lane. Going to be jumped on by Heal It Up. A little bit of damage traded back. Smarter's going to go in, forces the pool out of the Vladimir, and immediately he backs up to the turret one more time. We've seen that play happen a couple of times before. 4 kills to 1, but gold still fairly even, and even slightly in Dumbledore's army's favor, and most of it is off of Smartest. Crazy plays in this top side. Massive damage. Huge farm lead as well. Gonna get a ton more damage onto Vladimir. Drop him under half. Might even be able to go in for the kill as he's got Leap of Faith. Drops the C-Slow, forces out the pool. That's what the Alawi wants. Now she can flash with the Tentacle Slam. There it is. He gets a bit of a heal off of the Q. A couple more Tentacle Slams, dropping Vladimir low. He's able to clear the minion wave. So Smartest is going to be alone underneath the turret. Can he find the last bit of damage? The flash from Seal. resetting the fight as Smartest has to back away, go for the minion. So, flash forward, no leap of faith from the Alawi. She's mostly just focused on those E's. Dropping to CCL bit by bit. Gonna be once again starting to deal damage to this turret. Takes out that 4th plate. One more plate left, and we're only at the 13-minute mark. Could still maybe make a play, but G Fuel's coming up. This could be dangerous for the Alawi. Just a little bit of vision on the Mumu immediately backs away. 122 farm to 66 of this Vladimir, twice the farm. Already finishing off a Rage Blade, or Death Dance, I'm sorry. Rage Blade's a very similar looking item, but Death Dance, gonna have that extra attack speed, extra damage. Hasn't even finished tier 2 boots yet, just the Corruption Pot and the Death Dance. Both teams kind of hanging around the Ocean Drake Otter. Gonna be backed up once again by the Thresh. There it is, top lane turret going down before we even reach that 14-minute mark when the plating falls off. It's the Ocean Drake started by Dumbledore's army. We're gonna bring 3 members to it. Victor switching over to the mid lane. Keep that wave from pushing in onto the turret. Maybe try to dissuade Hamburger collectors from thinking that they're gonna be going for the Ocean Drake. They pick it up, setting things up well. Looking pretty good. 1,000 gold lead for themselves. Victor in the mid lane.
Join me and be elevated.
On his gold situation. He's down only about 500 gold to the Zed. Hey, Hadad won. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Glad you're enjoying, even though it's a solo cast. Normally speaking, XLNC's got a dual cast going on, but this game in particular, it's got 2 casters on the side of Dumbledore's army. Smartest 2 and XLNC Chat are both casters that cast for XLNC. This time they're going to be playing the game, though. We want to see how these casters can do. Smartest is doing a fantastic job on the top side. 600 gold bounty on his head. No kills. But, man, the gold lead that this Alawi has been able to build on that top side gives herself a 600 bounty. That is just crazy. Vladimir finally getting a little bit of CS, trying to push in the turret, and the Thresh and Ezra are going to be rotating up there. So Alawi says, I can solo against these 2 in the bottom lane. Let's see what Smartest can do. If CC chain from the Braum gets going, could maybe be able to pick off the kill from Alawi. She is going to have Leap of Faith, though, to deal in a 2v1 potentially. There it is. They're going to change onto her. The Leap of Faith called, but the Unbreakable from Braum actually says no. And Smartest taken down to about half health. We got to fight here towards the top side. Looking for the Rift Herald to see what this Mummy can do. She's going to snare up 3 people. He's going to snare up 3 people. Rift Herald is still alive. Finally drops. Seal it up. Finishes off the Thresh. The CCL doing a little bit of damage, but he's going to be chunked low and dropped. Xeno secures that one. Nobody running for the Rift Herald just yet. I got to check very quickly in the chat to see who was actually able to secure it. I think the side of Hamburger Collectors finished it off, and Moon might have been able to smite it away, heal it up once, and he's just going for the Rift Herald, is able to secure it, grab it, now he has to get out, goes in with the electrocute damage, but the knockout from the Flag and Drag, and XLNC Otter steals away the kill, evening up those kills and setting Dumbledore's army up 2,000 gold. They lose the Rift Herald, but they get themselves a kill onto the Zed. Alawi here to defend this bottom lane turret, who hasn't taken any damage whatsoever against the Braum and the Kaisa, as they're going to pick up a mid lane turret, keep stacking that gold lead, make it a 3,000 gold lead. As even though they lost that Rift Herald, they are doing quite well. Was gonna have to see, though, with this Zed, where he drops that Rift Herald. Could be in the mid lane to finally secure the first turret for Hamburger Collectors, as they are starting to fall behind. We also can take a moment during this breather to check in which is the next Drake coming up. Plus the Spirit's gonna miss. There we go. Let's check in on which the Drake is gonna follow up. It's gonna be a Infernal Drake. Let's make things a little bit spicy, boys. Let's add some habanero peppers to Hamburger Collectors hamburgers, as Dumbledore's army going to be pretty happy if they can secure themselves that second Drake of the game. Smartest is just wrecking in the silence. I mean, really, this Alawi is doing so much solo work, needing no help from the jungler whatsoever. Might be ganked 1v3, has the Tessa Spirit. Braum's gonna drop the Unbreakable, but doesn't matter. The tentacle damage forces G Fuel immediately out. It might actually go down, as the Alawi gonna take a lot of damage, exhaust flowing her own damage. Tessa Spirit onto the Kaisa. Tentacle Slam gonna drop Xenomegan's Ghost down to about half. The killer instinct is it up. Smartest is gonna solo almost 3 people. Finally goes down, and somehow, despite Evan being there, Heist is actually the one that gets the final tick of damage to take down the Alawi, make it a 1-for-1 in the top lane. The Vladimir going in, trying to do what damage he can, but Ezreal being poked down, grabs the lantern, gets away from the CCL for the moment. He's going to step right back up, trying to land the E, and he does get it through the Thresh, and he kills, double kill to the CCL solo on the top side. What a fantastic play by this Vladimir, despite being down so much gold. That has just reset everything so well for himself. Well, not really reset, but just kind of gotten him back into the game a bit more, as Alawi is still going to be up about 1,700 gold. Could have been a lot worse, though. And the double kill solo by Deceased Seal. Best part about that play was finding the E through the Thresh. He tried to body block it. Zed's going to make a play into the mid lane onto dive. He doesn't have barrier, doesn't need barrier, just gets the shield off of the E. Even trade, though, heal it up. Going to have to back. That Rift Herald going to be soon to despawn, so he's got to drop it in the near future. Xeno doing a decent job in the jungle so far for the side of Dumbledore's army. 2-0-2, but hasn't really completed any tank items just yet, and really wants to get some of that before trapping himself in with an opponent of that Cataclysm. Infernal Drake gonna spawn, and Thresh clearing up that vision around it, making sure the Dumbledore's army is the only one that sees it for now. But 3 members of Hamburger Collectors down there already. Might be 4 if Zed decides to join the party. As Smartest is once again gonna try to 1v1 with CC on the top side, making it a 4v4 around the Infernal Drake. A lot of people just jockeying for position. I want to click over. I don't really care too much about the top lane. There it is. Just jockeying for position as Xeno is going to immediately step forward. Going to be the one who maybe starts things off. Thresh hook is going to be the landing. And Amumu Snare is going to land onto 3 people. Doesn't matter, though. Victor's outside of that, so he's going to live. The Zed spawns Shelly in the mid lane against that mid-tier turret, dropping it low and maybe even killing it off. No, only gets it down to about half, so the Victor's able to stop that. Both teams unable to get the Infernal Drake just yet. The second Victor, once again, it's going to be started up by Dumbledore's army, dropping it below half health. And with that Thresh kind of playing goalkeeper off to the side, unless Zed is able to hop on the ball and steal it. Ooh, could have been close, because Otter actually had to secure the Infernal Drake. Either way, though, Dumbledore's army secures it, and once again, gets back into that 3,000 gold lead. Smartest doing a fantastic job keeping this Vladimir under control in the top lane. We'll start to damage this second tier turret as well, as we're going to be splitting onto this bottom side. I want to check very quickly onto this first tier turret on the bottom side. It's got about a 1/3 health to it. Wouldn't take Ezreal too long to knock it down. Smartest, again, kind of solo carrying on this top side. Doesn't even grab the lantern. There it is. I was about to say, what? You don't want to grab the lantern to get out? Grabs the lantern, gets out. Baron spawn is live. And Ezreal secures the bottom turret for our 4th turret for Dumbledore's army. As we reach a little bit over the 20-minute mark, Smartest. 207 farms. Vladimir's 133. Alawi might find himself in the midst of a 1v3. Hasn't pulled out the ultimate yet, though, so we'll still have it for group play. Everyone really afraid to try to go all in. Heal it up in the mid lane. 164, but is matched in farm by the 174 of the Victor. So no real advantages there for Hamburger Collectors. Bottom side farm is even between the two as well. So it's going to be on Smartest to make the plays with that ultimate, or just forcing that 1v, kind of 1-4 situation the Hamburger Collectors doesn't want. The CCL got a little bit of a split push going on the bottom side, drops the turret down to about half, but Alawi teleports in, stops that from going any further. Dive in that mid lane. He got popped once by Heal It Up. Exhaust is down at the moment, so there's a small chance for Heal It Up to try that again. There's no major item besides the perfect Hex Core completed by the Victor. Both teams kind of taking inventory of the game as a whole, jockeying for position around the Baron. You can see lots of vision from Dumbledore's army. They've got that control ward and a bunch of wards in the enemy team's jungle. Smartest being dumped on in the bottom lane. 1v2, grabs the Vladimir, dealing pretty good damage to the Test of Spear, drops it down to a 1/4 health. pulled out the leap of faith to make that one happen. Forcing Vladimir back, force the Amumu to flee as well. But that means the Amumu in the bottom lane, it's time for Dumbledore's army to turn onto the Baron. So they're going to start it up, but they are clearing this so slow. Victor finally shows up. This could be the play. They flash forward, trying to catch the Zed out. They can't get him, though. The flash forward from Amumu, he's trying to make the play. Glacial Fissure only knocks up one, so they're going to be able to secure the Victor as the fight continues to break out. Chad on the run. The Cataclysm from J4, but he was only going to go into his own death. Thresh is able to secure one back, but it is a small treat for Dumbledore's army, as otherwise they have lost 3 members. It's a 1-4-3. Alawi's trying to split push on the sidelines, but she's got no minions to go in, so Otter has to stop these recalls, but instead he's going to let them get those recalls off, and Dumbledore's army lose out big around the Baron fight. And I apologize, this itchiness on my nose is driving me absolutely nuts. I'm really not sure what's going on. As Smartest 2 going to be soloing in the bottom lane, drops the Leap of Faith once again, but should be going down to the turret that could just deal way too much damage. Is able to secure the bottom tier 2nd turret, so it's a little bit of gold back to Dumbledore's army, 4,000 gold lead, but that fight around the Baron really reset a lot of the map. Gives both teams once again the opportunity to fight for the Baron. And a lot of that was just off of the Dumbledore's army trying to make a flash play onto Zed, who did a fantastic job. He ended up getting over the wall and basically saying, nope, you can't catch me. And then Amumu flashing in to land the bandage toss, take away the Victor, start the fight off, and has already a 4v5 turned into a 3v5. Things kind of just went downhill from there. The chain CC really nice for Hamburger Collectors. They're going to try to catch out the J4. He's able to flag and drag himself to safety for the moment. The death sentence from Thresh doesn't land. This is the fight though. Heal it up, goes in, looking for the Ezreal. He's dropped the ultimate. He's immediately exhausted. That ultimate's going to pop on Otter, dropping him down to a quarter health, but he's not dead just yet. Victor ultimate dropping everyone low. The flash from the CCL, who's dropped the Ezreal, but it's a 1-for-1 trade as the CCL using the pool, trying to get out. Chad doing what he can to try to disengage the team. No! That is a beautiful Q from Zayna Megan on this Kai'Sa. Able to pick up the Victor, however, still dropping low. Can't die just yet. Gets the kill. It's a triple kill for the Kai'Sa before Alawi finally finishes him off. And Alawi has to carry for the team at this point. There is only 2 members left for Hamburger Collectors against a single Alawi. Smartest trying to make the play. Gets a lot of damage onto the Braum, but can't find the kill just yet. Those tentacles going to have to do some work onto these 2 members. Evan just going to walk away from one, walk away from the second as well. Alawi going to split push into the mid lane. So does get an objective back for Dumbledore's army despite them losing more people, and really Smartest, as I said, is kind of 1v5ing this whole game, doing a fantastic job. Smartest backing away from that last fight. Things went the way fight-wise of Hamburger Collectors, really, though, heavily off of Zayna Megan being able to pick up a triple kill, which is starting to kind of scale Kai'Sa insanely. With that triple kill, she's completed 2.5 items. Ezreal 2.5 as well. Cloud Drake, though, the 3rd Drake picked up by Dumbledore's army, secured, and now they can rotate towards this Baron. They've been slowly and assuredly taking objectives here and there. 4,000 gold lead for themselves. They haven't lost a single turret yet. Going to move in and secure vision around the Barons. Team fights may not always be going their way. As you can see, 6-kill lead by Hamburger Collectors, but everything else pretty much has been going their way. Turrets dealing some damage to the top lane turret, but Dumbledore's army not too concerned with that. Vladimir going to make the play on J4. Flags and tracks himself to safety, so they know that's down for a little bit. Amumu trying to make the play. Lands the Q onto Cody. The True Shot Barrage drops Vladimir a little bit, but it's not the target they necessarily want. G Fuel and Zed looking for the opportunity to jump onto Ezreal. Smartest is at the lead of the team fight, though. Leading the charge. No one wants to deal with this Alawi just yet. She's going to get the health regen off the Ocean Drake, though. This is not what Hamburger Collectors wants. Rob going to be in trouble, gets played backwards, throws out the Unbreakable, but Otter's still going to secure the kill, and they're going to turn and fight Amumu as well. The Cataclysm is dropped. Kai'Sa's in trouble. Kai'Sa is gone. Double kill for Dive, finishing her off, and Dumbledore's army did such a good job disengaging the fight when it wasn't looking their favor. The J4 gets away from the top side. They rotate around, and then they re-engage Smartest, leading the charge. And now he's going to be soloing against the Zed. Just drops it with a beautiful ultimate. Leap of Faith, Tentacle Slam. Takes him out, and Vladimir's got nothing either. That's going to be the Baron for Dumbledore's army. That's going to be a huge lead. We'll see if they immediately turn it into a push in a certain lane. I feel like they may get a little bit of damage in, or a little bit of push in the mid lane just to stop their middle turret from dropping. It's going to be a reset, back by, complete those items. Ezreal now has secured his third item of the game. That's what he wants. That's when his true power spike comes online. This Alawi, checking me under the gold, 12,000 gold, is absolutely rich beyond measure. Soon to complete her 5th item of the game. Victor as well, completing that Rylai's Crystal Scepter. Gonna enjoy the slows that come out from that. That was a complete ace without Dumbledore's army losing a single member. As King Tiltlord mentioned, the Thorn Mail picked up by the Amumu. Kind of interesting choice, as he points out, considering that Alawi is kind of the only member to really deal much 80 damage. Ezreal has a little bit, but not that much. And J4 is building tanky this time, so interesting choices. G Fuel has to run from Smartest. Chad throws out, gets the double play, throws out the Dark Passage, leading his team forward. True Shot Barrage catches the Vladimir as he comes out of the pool. This could be the final fight of the game as Dumbledore's army starts to siege in the bottom lane turret. They don't even have all 5 members here. Jarvan is coming from the base. They picked up the inhibitor turret. They picked up the inhibitor as well. They've got all 3 Drakes that have spawned so far this game. At the 28-minute mark, they're on to the Nexus turret themselves. Alawi ultimate destroys the Amumu. Ezreal picks up the kill. Healing up, gonna do what he can, but it's not gonna be enough. He gets the thresh, but he still goes down himself. 1 Nexus turret is gone. It's all in the books. Dumbledore's army secure the game. Even though they lost a number of fights, it wasn't about the fights. It was an objective-based game. Cataclysm used by J4 to help secure Kai'Sa. She's going to go down despite using her own... No, she didn't even get to use her own ultimate. She flashed away, but couldn't escape. Nexus goes down, and Dumbledore's army takes game number 3. Really, really, really good stuff. This is one of those games that you look at and you say, you know what? It's not about the kills. It's not about the gold or about the gold from kills. It's about the objective play. For almost the entirety of the game, Dumbledore's army was losing team fights but winning objectives. They got every single Drake, they got every single turret in the early game when they were or they would get turrets after plays. They didn't lose any turrets. Yes, some turrets got very low, but Hamburger collectors continued to turn off of turrets and instead turn towards fights. And those fights, Dumbledore's army was winning. Even though, well, winning, I say loosely. By winning, I don't mean they were getting more kills. What I mean is that advantages on the map, they were winning. If a fight didn't go their way, but Smartest secured a turret, Dumbledore's army had the advantage. If a fight didn't go their way, but they got the Rift Herald, Dumbledore's army had the advantage. If a fight didn't go their way, but they got the Infernal Drake, Dumbledore's army had the advantage. Objective-based game, and they rolled it in for a beautiful victory. Let's go ahead and roll through MVPs and honorable mentions for game number 3. For the losing side, Hamburger Collectors. Let's look at them across the board. I think I want to give honorable mention over to Heal It Up. He found a solo kill in the mid lane pretty nicely. Definitely dealt a lot of damage and was focusing on the right targets, ulting into the Ezreal, securing a kill. He did, even at the very end, find a kill against the Thresh despite going down himself, mostly because everyone else was just way too healthy for him to pop. So he was able to finish off Cody there. For MVP, gonna give it over to Zane, who had a massive amount of damage, most damage for the team. Look at the gold as well. One of the better farmers. Zed was a little bit better farming, but the Kai'Sa was involved in a lot of fights, doing the best that she could. Really, it was some nice Acathian reigns to pick up a number of kills, and again, doing her best in what was a very rough situation. For the winning side, Dumbledore's army, honorable mention, I'm going to give over to... I'm going to give it to Xeno. Reason why was made some rotations to the bottom side of the map to set up Otter well, but it was really the combination of Xeno and Cody together in the mid lane that did a fantastic job of making sure that dive didn't go down too many times. It's kind of keeping dives ahead above water, which is pretty funny considering his name. The reason why I'm not giving it to Cody is because of the deaths. Despite making a lot of good plays, did overextend a little bit here and a little bit there, using that heavy aggression to kind of push Hamburger Collectors back, but did die a number of times. Despite that, there are ways to have heavy aggression without dying too many times. MVP gonna go to Smartest, no question about that. Solo winning his lane, solo winning massive amounts of pressure. Basically 1v5ing. I wouldn't say 1v9ing, as the rest of the team did quite well as well. But Smartest 2 absorbing a ton of pressure and solo winning his lane by miles. Fantastic work. We're gonna check very quickly, even though the graphics are pretty terrible for it. We're gonna check very quickly and see what these what the damage was. Yeah, 32,000 damage from the Allow It. That is just good stuff. Good stuff there. All right, we're going to be right back for game number 4. Don't go anywhere, as we should have a team and a free play ready for game number 4. If you want to play, be sure and hit that exclamation point join with your in-game name, Catnator, with your in-game name. Hey, Spood, how's it going? How is the other side of the world? What time is it there?